How you doing? I'm Michael Bell, the voice of Duke.
Hi, this is Adrienne Palicki, Lady J from G.I. Joe.
Hey there, it's Rachel Nichols, aka Scarlett.
And if you're listening,
And you're listening to
And you are listening to Anything Joe's, a collaborative journey through the world of G.I. Joe with Greg and Jaron.
Yo Joe!
Got my G.I. Joes, got my comic books, watching cartoon episodes. Watch me go and box, dead stop, Jaren on his toes. Watch me go and lock a whole new world you never know. On my freaking block, on my block, anything Joe's. Roll my badger into work today. Yes sir, no sir, I can't call this work today. I'm too clutch, ain't no pun intended. Call me sir today. Check the prices out, my collection feeling bird today. Anything Joe, 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 Joe.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Anything Joe's, a collaborative journey through the world of G.I. Joe. My name is Greg Engel, and I'm all you've got today. Jaron is once again AWOL, doing who knows what, who knows where, and I thought instead of missing an episode, I'd just take some time and we'd just kind of catch up a little bit and see what's been up to. I actually thought to myself, have I purchased enough G.I. Joe stuff to fill an entire episode, like a little mini episode of recent acquisitions? Of course I have. Let's get straight to it.
Recent acquisitions.
On a previous episode, I mentioned that I'd been dabbling with the live auction site Whatnot quite a bit recently, and I will be upfront that a lot of the content that I'm talking about in this little mini episode is very comic heavy because I've been spending a lot of time spending too much money on too many things. I think I was talking about scooping up old Marvel books, and I've tried to slow down on that, but I have probably amassed a minimum of 50 plus books from the original Marvel run. I think my goal right now is to upgrade any existing copies I have in my run and then sell or trade off the rest for something. It seems like these books are on the rise value-wise right now, as G.I. Joe comics in general are very popular. So I'm trying to upgrade some stuff as quick as I can. I didn't pick up any like major keys, nothing earlier than a number 6, which I was actually very excited to upgrade because my single digit copies are pretty rough. All of my copies are my childhood copies, so they've been read extensively. They look pretty bad. Unfortunately, some of my best like signed copies are also my childhood readers, which is fine sometimes, but I like to have some good stuff too. So anyway, I had bought a bunch of those. I just was scooping them up. Nobody seemed interested, and I'm always interested. I did get one thing. Actually, I got a few things that will qualify in the like a retro category, and I'll show them to you right now. Here's some small hits. I found a G.I. Joe European missions that I didn't have. I've been I don't actively collect these, but I am trying. If I find them at a good price, I'll pick them up here and there, and that's kind of how it's been my whole life. I think I have maybe half of the run. It's not an urgency, but I've found a good deal, and it was only a couple of dollars. Same thing for this. I found a Tales of G.I. Joe number 12. It's the last one I needed to complete Tales of G.I. Joe. Just another thing to check off the list. Some more interesting stuff in the retro category. I found somebody selling these 2 digests, which if you're familiar are just like little mini reprints. I think they put maybe as many as 3 issues in one digest. I had these and read these as a kid. They're really nice. They're published by Marvel, as you can see. I used to pick these up at convenience stores, like with my dad. We'd go to 7-Eleven before school, and he'd let me get these. They were $1.50, which is actually kind of a lot, but I guess for 3 books it was a good deal. So this is not something, you don't see these very often, but those are one of those little runs that I'm trying to complete. And this was another nice little find. It's the trade paperback, the original trade paperback of Special Missions. It reprints the first 4 issues of Special Missions. It's not in great shape. You can actually see by the front it's pretty beat up, and they didn't disclose this, and I'm not that upset about it, but the first page is actually completely detached, so that's a bit of a bummer. But I don't have this, and I've never had it, and again, I probably paid less than what it was when it came out brand new. So when you collect as much stuff as I do with the budget that I have, you compromise with lower grade stuff, at least, with the possibility that if a better copy comes available at a good price, you can upgrade it then. The last thing I got from the original run, and I've actually had this for a hot minute, I don't think I've talked about it on the show though, so I apologize if I do, or I did, but I did get a graded G.I. Joe number 27. It's a 9.4. You guys can tell that I'm going through a grading phase right now where I'm trying to get some of my more valuable books protected for a multitude of reasons. They're signed and I'd like to have them verified. I'd like for them to be protected because a lot of my comics aren't in very good shape because I did not take very good care of them even though I've collected them for a long time. And lastly, because I want the books that are the most valuable to be easy for my family to sell if something were to happen to me. I know that's unusually grim for this upbeat guy, but that's the point of having a massive collection. Is I'm sure people with big collections have similar thoughts. I try to explain to my wife, like, if something happens in a train wreck, sell this stuff first. Don't just sell it all to one greedy fool. And so that's kind of the point behind this. I mean, it's not exclusively that. I also am just enjoying having high-grade copies of books that I love. This is, of course, the second part of The Origin of Snake Eyes. It's not an exceptionally valuable book, and I think I got this for like $35, which, if you know how much it costs to grade and ship a book, that's not a lot of profit for this dude. So, yeah, so I grabbed it. Anything that's like a high, I mean, I consider a 9.4 to be a high grade. People, I'm not going to get into a side thing about grading, but 9.4 is plenty high enough for me. It looks unread essentially. That's all the older stuff that I have been found on Whatnot. There is some other stuff that kind of crosses the bridge between comics and toys, and this is something that I think we actually reported on a much earlier episode when they were unveiled. I passed on them for financial reasons. I was in a Whatnot show, and this guy was selling a lot of random toys, and one of the random things he had was this. This is the I think it's the Palisade Studios is who makes this. It's an official, it's Diamond Select Toys 2022. Gosh, has it been that long already? Anyway, so this guy had this randomly in the store. I'm just cruising. I just look at what they've got and look for G.I. Joe stuff in general. So I strike up a conversation with them. I'm like, tell me about it. What's going on? He said it's unopened. His wife doesn't want him to have it. Blah, 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 blah. He's got it priced pretty low. As a matter of fact, if you scan these, I think even right now in Big Bad Toy Store, they retail for about $90, which is probably why I passed on it. This guy had it for like half of that. And I didn't have to have it, but who's going to pass a great deal up? So I offered him like maybe $10 less than that. So anyway, I think I got this for like $30 to $40. I'm here to tell you it's a way higher quality than I thought. It looks great, as you can see here. For those of you that are audio listeners, please head over to the Twitter or X at some point, and I will post pictures of all the stuff that I'm talking about today. So I don't want you guys to feel left out. You know, I've added the video to the audio feed, but I know that's not feasible for everybody. So photos of all this stuff will be on our Twitter. Not our Instagram, run by Jaron, who couldn't be bothered to show up and record today. Anyway, these are heavy, really well made, and just solid. And so for that price, literally the cheapest I've ever. I could not find any sold listings that were competitive with that. So I felt like I couldn't pass it up. And I'm glad I didn't. I really, really like it. I don't have anywhere to put it just yet, but I'm extremely happy with it. Not at the same time, but maybe 2 weeks later. It's been a while since we've talked about acquisitions. Somebody popped up with another one. And I went, oh, sorry, before we talk about that, I don't have it here, but I can show you here that this was unopened. This Destro bus was unopened. So you cannot imagine how excited I was when I opened it up and the card came out. And it's number 2 of 1,000. Number 2. Now, I know a low print run doesn't exactly relate to anything super special. I mean, it doesn't make the value. It's just cool, right? And 2 is almost as cool as it gets. Anyway, I thought that was a little added bonus that I was like double psyched about it. And so anyway, maybe 2 weeks later, another one pops up. I don't know where these are coming from. I don't know why. It's, you know, if you're not familiar with Whatnot, you do see a lot of undersold stock, stuff that just did not sell in bulk. And I guess you see, comics wise, you see the same stuff from like 2021 and 2022 in bulk. It's crazy. Anyway, this was not that. This was another one-off. I don't know where it came from. I don't know what the deal was. I offered him roughly the same price, about $35, and he accepted. It's not a low number, but it is also, again, also an awesome statue. So check out the little Rashikage logo on the base. This is a Storm Shadow. Sorry, audio guys. It was a Destro, and this is a Storm Shadow. This is also a Diamond Select. It's not there's nothing special. It's like $452 of 1,000. It doesn't change the fact that they were both great prices and they're hefty pieces. The detail work is there, and I'm really, really happy with them. I don't always have the funds to get into the statue world, so if I can find something like this that's competitively priced and is good quality, I'm always very ecstatic about it. It took me years to get that statue with Flint and Zartan. It's a very well done statue, and there's an interchangeable version where Zartan's camouflaged. We've talked about it before because it's really one of the best pieces other than those mega prime ones that are like, I don't know, 1/6 scale that are really out of my price point. Anyway, I found these and it's awesome. I love them. I'm very happy with them. Let's talk about more comics that I found, but newer stuff. This all started because of Mike Mayhew. Mike Mayhew has been doing variant covers for Real American Hero from like 301 on, and he has like these mystery boxes where you can get like signed copies at a better price than what they retail for. A signed copy, a virgin copy, is like $50 or $60, way out of my price range. But a mystery box was like $35. You get 2 comics. If you're lucky, maybe one of them will be a G.I. Joe one. Well, let me tell you guys a horror story about a man that went down a rabbit hole that he shouldn't have. Mike had, sorry, let me back up. So I think it was 303 was getting ready to come out, and that 303's Mike Mayhew had a Lady J cover, and Mike Mayhew had put a press release out saying, hey, these are all damaged. I don't know if they're coming out. We're going to try to get them reordered or whatever. Shortly thereafter, Mike had like 10 of them for sale on one of his shows, and he had put a remark on one of them. And my thought process was, well, if these don't get reprinted for some reason, they'll be exceptionally rare. So I really want to try to get this one, the one that's remarked. So anyway, long story short, I spent a lot of money on a lot of mystery boxes, but I did win the one that I wanted, and it's this. So this is the Lady J cover. It is the Virgin variant. It's obviously signed by Mike, and it has a little Cobra Commander remark on it. I mean, I got to be upfront, guys, when I say I paid a lot. I'm trying to actually resell or trade some of the stuff that I got in those boxes that I didn't want in the hopes to recoup the value. I'm not upset about it. It's what I wanted. I did pay more than I hoped to hit it earlier than I did, but I still think it's cool. I hope you guys agree. All right, so now we're getting into just other random stuff that I have picked up on Whatnot that falls into the realm of interesting G.I. Joe books. I found a Duke #1. It is signed with a certificate of authenticity by Tom Riley and Joshua Williamson. You know, I'm big on meeting G.I. Joe creators and always have been. Those are 2 guys I'd never met, and that guy, it was a really cheap pickup. It was like $10. I was like, okay, yeah, great. I didn't get this through Whatnot, so it's kind of in the middle of this, but I did talk about it on Twitter. I was able to get this rad Clayton Crane. You guys know I feel like a hypocrite for saying this, because you guys know I was just trashing Clayton Crane not that long ago, and I stand by that. But this is the only cover he's done so far that I was like, this is breathtaking. We'll take another look at it. It's an awesome Serpentor cover. I also posted this on our Twitter, but the COA looks like a file card. I knew this book would be very expensive, I wouldn't be able to find it any cheaper. So I said, I'm going to try to get it, and if I can't, that's cool. But if I can, that's also cool. And I actually wasn't able to get the book by itself. He has another option where it's like, hey, you really want it? Well, I'm going to make you buy another book that I get for free. Clayton Crane, I'm on to your... Never mind. So I bought that, and then the bundle was, and I'm actually, again, not upset about this. It was that book, and then I got one of the other variants. This is the Brad Walker variant for 305, and it's Baroness and Don Marino, and it matches all the other Brad Walkers. This is like a 1 in 10 variant, which means you have to order 10 copies to get one of these in the stores if you're not big comic book people. And I needed this anyway, and this is one of his best ones in my opinion. So I'm happy with that. I think that Clayton Crane book will be very hard to get, and it is very, very cool. I threw this in because it's like a 1 in 50 variant, and it's a great cover. It's a very cartoony rendition of Major Blood. This is the 1 in 50 of Duke #3. This is the stuff that was kind of uncommon. I got a stack over here. I don't know if you guys know how many times they reprint each one of these books. So I've been trying to scoop all of those up. I've got the fever in a bad way for G.I. Joe comics right now. That's just what my collection has turned in that direction, at least for the near future. We talked about this on another episode. You guys are not gonna believe it. Maybe you will. I picked this up off eBay because I couldn't stop thinking about it since we talked about it. I never spend this much money on a comic. Almost never. And that's how bad I wanted this 1 in 250 Duke cover that's done by David Mack. It's so amazing. It makes me so happy. I love comics. I love G.I. Joe. I love David Mack art. It's amazing. I actually was in a stream that David Mack was on, and he was sketching for people, and I commented on it and said, hey, I just bought this cover today. It was really hard to get. And he acknowledged it and was saying that he was working on other stuff for them he couldn't talk about, so I guess he's got more variant covers coming. I was just very excited overall. It's outlandish how much I paid for that book. It's already worth less than what I paid for it, and that's okay. It does not take away from the joy that I got. All right, now that's the liner coat. Now let's talk about the original art that I've picked up since then. You guys might have already seen this on the Twitter or on our Facebook. I think I shared it there as well, but Andrew Wildman, who did some of the later era Marvel artwork, had posted that he was doing commission work through his Ko-fi page, which is sort of like a different version of Patreon. Essentially, you just support him or whatever. Anyway, so he had a couple of different options for sketches that he was doing, and once I saw he had done a dial tone for someone, once I saw it, I was like, oh man, I don't have an Andrew Wildman sketch. I've never had a chance to meet him and have him sign any of my books. I thought I'm going to go ahead and get it. So this was in the probably $125 to $140 range. I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact price. It may have actually changed since then because I think he got a lot of commissions. I have seen him do a lot of Transformers work since this came out. I, of course, wanted a G.I. Joe piece, and as I've mentioned before, I give artists as much freedom as they want, so in the comments I wrote, draw anybody you want, and I paid for a full figure, and this is what I got. This exceptional full-figured hooded Cobra Commander. How awesome is that? Again, this is somebody that worked on the original run. I have never met and didn't have art from, and that's a huge checklist. I mean, that's a huge notch for me. I'm always trying to get people that worked on the book, no matter how small. If you worked on the Marvel run in any capacity, I'm dying to meet you and get a sketch from you, essentially. And I've done my best to meet everybody and that meets that criteria. So this was a big pickup. If you're interested in Andrew Wildman's art, I mean, like, honestly, the other stuff he did I think is even better than this. Somebody got a 3-person sketch. It's like cesspool slice and dice, which is amazing. So he's doing great work. You can go to his Facebook page, look him up on Ko-fi. It's like KO-FI, and hit him up. I mean, this thing was done in like 5 days. He did not waste any time at all. So that was separate. That was just something that just was in my field of vision, and I sprung on it. But I did find a bunch of other people on Whatnot that are doing G.I. Joe related art, because it is very much in the zeitgeist right now. It's very popular. This guy, I don't even know this guy's name. Oh good, he has his card. This gentleman's name is Jesse David Lundberg, and he obviously runs a Whatnot channel. This even has a little COA that says drawn live on Whatnot. And he had pre-done this piece. I was watching him draw something. My friend actually brought me over and said, hey, look at this guy sketching. He's got a very good deal on like live sketching. If I wanted to commission him, he would draw it there live. And as it would happen, as I was thinking about commissioning him, he had a pre-done piece. I think this was about $70. It's on a Cobra Commander blank, which I actually don't have, so I thought that counts, right? It doesn't have to be blank anymore. And it's this beautiful Cobra Commander. Lots of Cobra Commanders in the artwork right now. This is, of course, the battle damage one. I want to say this was like $60 or $70. Full color, bust up, looks great. Pretty, I mean, really, really nice. I've got a lot of great comic book covers, and I always enjoy getting art from people that don't have to be a published G.I. Joe artist to also appeal to me. I love artists that also love G.I. Joe. For example, I had recently commissioned a guy who I'm still waiting to see a piece from, but that knew the different versions of Snake Eyes. Just somebody that has, or somebody that's like, I want to draw this character. I love that type of stuff. So yeah, no, like I'm not biased. You don't have to have worked. You don't have to be a Jim Lee. I love all artists that love G.I. Joe. So we talked about going down the Mike Mayhew rabbit hole, where I was desperately seeking this remark. Well, that wasn't enough for me, because literally right after that, he had posted that he had done a full cover art for 301. Not a remark, not a fancy weird signature, just a flat out, like, it's a full piece. And wouldn't you know it, it's on a 301 blank, and I didn't have a 301 blank, so that counts. This was more expensive. This was like a $200 piece. I'm not going to balk at how much I paid for it, but it is a beautiful piece. And Mike is a published G.I. Joe artist. I felt like that was a very fair price. Mike doesn't do a lot of like traditional pen and pencil art. He's a lot of his finished stuff is very digital looking. So I thought that was a good opportunity. This is a lot. It sounds like I've been spending a lot of money, and I have, but it's been over a very large period of time. We just haven't had the time in the show to talk about this stuff. I've got one other book left, and then I'm going to talk just real briefly about toy stuff. And I just got this in today. This gentleman's name is Eddie Nunez, and I'm pretty sure he does Ninja Turtle stuff. I might be wrong about that. And this was another pre-done piece on Whatnot. I saw it and was like, oh yeah, okay, it's one of the only G.I. Joe. It was the only G.I. Joe piece there. And so I got this for about $50, which I think was a pretty fair. It's a split headshot, half Cobra Commander, half Snake Eyes, some color. Cobra Commander's helmet is in color. It looks really good. I was really happy with it. I was bidding on it, obviously, and I knew what my max bid was going to be, so I feel like it was an appropriate price. So yeah, lots of comic book stuff. That's not even getting into the actual old Marvel stuff. Again, I didn't get anything amazing out of there, but I did get some good, like there's Snake Eyes face reveal is in there. Anything that's in the single digits, I feel like is a hit. I'm going to start going through that stuff and out with the old and in with the good. If you're looking for any of that stuff, I guess hit me up, because I've got a lot of extras. Let's talk real quick about toys, and then we'll be done for the day. Since we already talked about the bust, which is kind of toy related, I only have one other thing that's arrived that's non-classified, and that is this Mezco Snake Eyes. If you've seen these guys, they're exceptionally well detailed. I have spoken before about how awesome the cloth is on them. It just is very snug with them. I don't have it right here on hand, but the timber that comes with this Snake Eyes is good. I do really like these figures. They lack a lot of playability, but they have great posability. I think they look amazing together. This is the second one in a row where I'm like, I'm not getting this, and then I get it. It's technically the third, because the Storm Shadow will be here, I think, tomorrow. And I'll talk about that on a later episode when I can fit it in. I do like these figures. They're very expensive, and that is always off-putting on top of the classified stuff. But if you're into this, if you're into Mezco stuff at all, if you're into this scale, if you're looking for something that's a little bit more posable, this is it. That has tons and tons of options. Maybe we can sit down and do an actual unboxing on one at some point, but the value is there. I don't question that. It really comes down to, can I keep collecting this and Ultimates? And the answer is probably no. Something's going to have to give sooner rather than later, based on how much stuff I've already kind of had to abandon. The only other thing that I've picked up of mention is I did get the newest wave of classified figures, the Retro Duke, the Retro Scarlet, and the Retro Recondo. I don't want to talk about those without Jaren, because that's really Jaren's passion. I will just say, just generalized thoughts across the board, that I love them all. I think they are all really good. The Scarlet, that's a big favorite for me, and I think the other ones are great hits as well. So we'll go into more depth on that on our next episode when Jaren's here. We can actually sit down and get into it. Obviously, we also are coming to the close of the Reign of Serpentor, Arise Serpentor Arise. We have 2 episodes left of that, and so that's on our slate, and then we're going to start moving into the movie, which I'm very excited. I think Jaren is enjoying it, and I'm enjoying it, and I think you guys are as well, so stay tuned for that. All on top of that to say that I have a very special comic book surprise on the horizon that I've been working on in the background, so please stay tuned for that. I know a lot of people ask about it pretty much all the time. I promise it's coming. It's going to knock your socks off. I swear. That's it for this week. Thanks so much for joining us. I look forward to talking to you again in just 2 short weeks, where anything's available for discussion here on Anything Joe's.
Watch me go and box, dead stop, Jaron on his toes. Watch me go and lock a whole new world you never know. On my freaking block, on my block, Anything Joe's. Roll my badger into work today. Yes, sir, no, sir. I can't call this work today. I'm too clutch. Ain't no pun intended. Call me sir today. Check the prices out. My collection feeling bird today. In this game since 83. You fools ain't the same as me. You frontin'. All these other Joes ain't who they claim to be. Yeah, just the average Joe. That's why Cobra hating me. Yeah, boy, I'm Snake Eyes. That's why Scarlet dating me. I'm gung ho. Louisiana love me, baby. Sunbow. Yeah, the hero was me, baby. Storm Shadow. Yeah, that's why y'all fear me, baby. Got a lot of Joes. You got none. Come and share me, baby. G.I. Joe. Got my comic.